This news is funded by viewers like you. Please support our work at democracynow.org/give. This is Democracy Now! I'm Amy Goodman. We're broadcasting from COP28 in Dubai, UAE. We end today's show looking at Brazil's plans to address the climate crisis. Here at COP, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva called for a phase-out of fossil fuels.
Now is the time to face the debate about the slow-motion pace of the decarbonization of the planet and to work towards an economy that will be less reliant on fossil fuel.
But Brazil has also alarmed many climate activists over its plan to join the oil producer alliance OPEC Plus as an observer state. This is Lula again.
Our participation in OPEC is for us to discuss with OPEC the need that rich oil-producing countries start investing part of their money in helping poor countries in the African continent, in Latin America, in Asia, to invest in non-fossil fuels. They can fund ethanol, biodiesel, wind energy, solar energy, green hydrogen. This is our role.
We're joined now by Paula Vargas, Brazil Program Director at Amazon Watch. We thank you so much for being with us. Why don't you start off by clarifying what is Lula, the Brazilian president's stance right now?
We had a lot of expectations that Brazil president will be leading climate action towards a better planet, but what we saw here is a big contradiction. Lula, in one hand, it's like delivering a lot of important speeches and announcements, but in the other one, his Minister of Mining and Energy is praising the entrance of OPEC+. So it's a big skeleton they are trying to hide, as for instance, the attempt to open the Amazon to oil exploitation.
Were you encouraged by any stance, and do you think Lula can be moved? Also, the question about encouraging oil drilling off-site, off the coast.
There are reasons to be encouraged and hopeful because it's in fact possible for Lula to take this leadership role. It's a fact that he arrived at COP delivering what he promised in terms of deforestation, and he pledged zero deforestation by 2030. He's one of the most ambitious plans and president in trying to lead his NDCs towards the commitment of the Paris Agreement. He's also very focused on the climate justice and bringing those that are more vulnerable to the table. He's receiving indigenous leaders and working with them towards this. So yes, in 2 years, Lula can be supported, not only pressured, but supported to take this leadership role.
Talk more about what Bolsonaro did, his targeting of the rainforest, and how much further Lula has to go.
It's a sad thing to say that in 4 years, Bolsonaro has really created and opened the Amazon for a lot of illegal activities. He had give this sense of impunity, and now we have transborder crime going stronger. We have people defying the government. Even after Lula took the invaders from the Yanomami territory, now they are back and defying the police and fighting them. So what Bolsonaro did was unprecedented in terms of like helping those illegal loggers, illegal minings, and farmers to get to the Amazon as the new frontier and a lawless frontier. So Lula has a big challenge. First, to try to get better condition, give better condition to the environmental agencies. They are now trying to do the work, so they need funds, they need people, because it was dismantled. But it's proof that it can be done. It was done before when Lula was president and Marina was the minister, and they were able to reduce deforestation in 82%. Now in only 1 year, they haven't been able to do this. They arrived in for almost 49% of deforestation. So yes, it can be done, and he's moving towards it. But we also have to understand and be attentive for what they are calling sustainable progress, economy, because he's talking about bioeconomy. But there are a lot of people that think that that means more mining. And mining, the model that exists now, it's not sustainable. So Brazil can be in the leadership of renewable energy and can think about a different progress if they work with community towards, for instance, regenerative agriculture and not agribusiness, not cattle, not big industrial monoculture, because people are hungry. Like, we need food, and farmers can also be part of the development, right? So Brazil has a big possibility of being the top leader in environmental change, and we do believe that we have 2 years to prove that.
Latin America is the deadliest region for environmentalists. Who's behind the murders?
It's not a simple question, because we have been seeing how crime are a big network of actors. We have from, for instance, the community, poor people, they are working as illegal loggers and legal fishermen because they need to survive, but they are part of then a big chain that are doing that, like taking this fish, but working with illegal loggers, and then the legal miners come. And in the 4 years of Bolsonaro, what will happen is the big cartel, the drug cartel, are now working transborder between like the Peru, Colombia, Brazil, Venezuela, and just recently Amazon Watch released a big important report, Amazon Underworld, where this is like showing off. And it's also important to understand that the solution is not simple. We just don't need more militarization, or it's not putting the army or police reinforcement. The only solution needs to happen to take them. But if we don't bring solutions, there are social solutions, work with the community, economy solutions, there will be just another war, and we don't need more war.
What do you want to see come out of UN COP28, where we are right now?
I want to see people to believing that COP can be a place for big discussions and to give hope and unite movements, not the big business expo that is becoming right now.
The significance of Dr. Al-Jaber being the president of the COP and also the head of one of the largest oil companies in the world.
Yeah, that is like
and the lobbyists, about 2,500 of them. We've never seen anything like this at any COP.
We also now saw, like what we saw since Egypt, right? It's like why those two COPs are happening in those places. And I think like because of this and because of this, the corporate capture, the fossil fuel capture happening, instead of giving us less hope, should like push civil society and movements and journalists towards putting more effort to make Brazil COP a different one. Again, like we have to understand loss and damage will never happen without pressure of the civil society. It's not their interest to send them money, and there were money announced. It's not enough, but it's announced. So we have to maybe believe that UN and COP could be a place that we can still bring politicians together to discuss the better world, but it will not happen without our pressure. Your work and our work as civil society and more. We have to organize transnational, global movement so that together we can push our governments toward the right path.
Democracy Now! Is funded by viewers like you. Please give today at democracynow.org/give.